Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topics series. Today we are going to give you our Hot Topic started last Friday. Hot Topic, back up your brain. How do you want to be remembered? As one journalist in particular discovers, we may eventually be able to preserve our entire mind for generations to come, but digitally. Would you like to do it? Come on in and find out how. So we'll talk a little bit about digital immortality. We'll talk about whether it's ethical to do this, and we'll talk about what giving consent actually means in the context of another case, not about the future, but from the past. Story of Henrietta. We'll talk a bit about participation in these kind of medical scientific experiments and what it really means. So hopefully that will give us an idea of how to tackle a difficult issue. And of course, we'll look at the language of talking about complex ethical issues and the language of talking about the future and the language of memory. A little bit of everything today. So that's a bit about the class. Here's a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words you're learning when we are speaking so I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. Now, I want to know a little bit about you. So, welcome back, Daniel. Nice to see you.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. And let's say hello to Yassine as well. Hello, Yassine.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
You've been here before, I think. I remember you, Yassine. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. From Algeria? No.
Yes, I am from Algeria.
Okay. Yes, I remember. Nice to see you again.
You.
I'm going to share my screen so you can see the material. Here it is. Remember, you can always get the material under class material when you sign in. It's always there underneath the video window, but I'll give you the link in the chat window as well if you want to open it. And when you see that graphic, you know you're in the right place. Okay? So we started this last week, and I thought that we could do 2 things. We could, after we go back to some of what we read about, we could look at the issue from maybe 2 different points of view. We can look at it from talking about the future, what is likely to happen, how you feel about it, and we can talk about it from the point of view of ethics and morality. Is it what happens to our morality when we go from being human to something else? If we can back up our minds, as it says, are we human beings anymore? So it raises lots of interesting questions. So let's start. For those of you who weren't here last week, we ought to start by talking about what we learned so far and maybe reading a few excerpts from the previous article before we move on. All right? So let's see, Daniel, you were here last week, and I think you were here as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
That's correct.
So, Yassine and Vincenzo were not here last week.
Yes.
So, let's bring them up to date before we do anything else. What is going on in the article? This was about one particular journalist who was investigating a new type of company. What did the company do? Let's bring Vincenzo and Yassine up to date.
Please, teacher, can you repeat?
We're going to summarize so that you were not here last week, Yassine. So we're going to summarize for you what we read and talked about, okay?
Okay.
All right. So all here, tell us a little bit about this company we read about. Do you remember?
No.
No, I'm talking to Ald.
Ah, d'accord. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, okay. What's the question?
Can you tell us a little bit about the company we read about last week? Remember, what does the company, the new company, what is it trying to achieve?
So I'm sorry, I'm forget.
Last week we talked about a company called, let me go down a little bit. Let's see if I can go to the article. Before we'll go to this in a second. What's the name of the company? I forgot the name. It's here somewhere. 1 second. Here it is. So this guy, we have a customer. We talked about this customer, Aaron Sunshine, out in San Francisco, and he's using the service of a company called Eternity.me. Right here. So Daniel, what do you remember about this company, Eternity.me?
Yes, it's planning to kind of download your brain,
Upload
your brain.
Upload your brain. Yeah, what does that mean?
all your remembers, no,
Memories?
memories. All your memories upload in a software or something.
That's right. So your memories would be uploaded in software or uploaded maybe to what we call the cloud, or a database, the cloud. And there were two ways that this could be done. There were two different ways. Eternity.me is a real company, and you're looking at it right now. This is their website.
Mm-hmm.
There's two ways. One is a medical procedure, and that is still science fiction, but it might be possible because they're doing experiments. But Eternity.me is not going to perform a medical procedure, is it, Daniel?
Now it's by by your profile in Facebook, in Twitter. All you in your entire life, all you have upload in the cloud.
Everything you've uploaded in the cloud, yeah.
Upload in the cloud. It will be forever in a site, because when you pass away, Facebook or Twitter, or I think they erase all your picture or your entries.
Okay, so what you're saying is, when you die, your social media is normally erased. Your Facebook, your Twitter, all of that. Eternity.me will save all of your social information, social networking information. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you're using. Okay? Now, because Vincenzo wasn't here, Daniel, what will they do with that information? Don't they try to create something with it?
Yes, as a virtual cemetery, maybe. When your grandchildren or will want to know more about their origins, no?
Wait, 1 second. When they will want or when they want?
When they want.
Right. When your great-grandchildren want to know about their origin, what will attorney.me allow them to do? What do they create? A virtual what?
A virtual album, memory album.
No, not exactly.
No?
There's one important thing. They create a virtual you. They create you.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. They create you. So, just to summarize, if you sign up for this company, which is a real company, they take all of your digital information, everything you've ever done, you give it to them, and they continue to interact with you while you're alive, and they create a software which is meant to be you, that can respond. It can talk to people. So they create a virtual you. Does that sound familiar now? Do you remember from last week?
Yes, but I think I don't rise at that point. I don't arrive at that point, or that I don't get that point.
I didn't get that point.
I didn't get that point. Yeah.
I think that was the
it's
service.
sci-fi. This I remember the TV series Black Mirror.
Right.
It's the same.
So Vincenzo, are you out there?
Yes, it's kind of a reincarnation.
Kind of? Reincarnation?
Reincarnation, yes.
Reincarnation, exactly. It is a kind of reincarnation. Something like that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the website as well. Then we can go to a little bit of reading. Let's take a look at the website. Vincenzo, do you think you could read their slogan on the front of the website for us?
Where is it? We all pass. No, where is it?
Yeah.
We
That's
all pass away sooner or late, leaving only a few memories behind for family, friends, and humanity, and eventually we are all forgotten. But what if you could be remembered forever?
So, and then we've got some examples. A legacy for your family, everything you did, a living proof.
Yeah. Simply become immortal. Immortal. Yes. Can you read? Because it's very...
Oh, it's small. Okay.
Very small.
I'll read this part. It says, Eternity.me collects almost everything that you create during your lifetime and processes this huge amount of information using complex artificial intelligent algorithms.
Intelligent algorithms.
Then it generates a virtual you.
Yes, it is.
An avatar that emulates your personality and can interact and offer information and advice to your family and friends even after you pass away. So that's the idea of attorney.me. Okay? So, Kuba, just to tell you, last week we've started to read about digital immortality. And this is a company we read about, attorney.me.
Internet immortality.
Yeah, and it's a real company. It's not science fiction, it's real.
All right.
So, here's what we're going to do. We're gonna talk to someone immortal.
Is it a true fact or not? No.
Yes. No, it's real. This is real.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if you slow down the page, you can read so far. Eternity.me will launch soon.
Yeah, that's true.
And will accept new users gradually.
That's true.
Our team is working on it.
But look what we have here. We have Mike. So we've got a virtual person. Let's see if I can type. Oh, wait. I'm blocked. I can't type here. Let me see. Hold on.
No, I can't.
Oh, they blocked it. They blocked it. No, before you could type and Mike would respond. And now it's blocked. Oh, no.
Maybe you need an invitation.
Maybe.
Apply for an invitation.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. I wanted to talk a little bit to Mike. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hang on a second. If we can't talk to Mike, I have another possibility here. Let me just see if I can find one of these people. So Mike is blocked, but I do want to show you an example, a real one that gives you something very similar. Has anyone seen the movie with what's his name? The poem that passed the Turing Test. Hold on a second. Let me just find an example. Online. Yeah, I think this is an example here. Did anyone see the movie that's in the theaters right now called, what's the movie right now with Burt Cumberbatch?
Her.
Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah, that's one with Joaquin Phoenix.
I enjoy
or Joaquin Phoenix.
watching this film.
That's one. And there's another one out now which is on the historical route of that movie. Hers is ultimately based on Alan Turing's experiments, thought experiments. There's a movie about Alan Turing right now in the theaters. Hold on a second. I'll look it up. I don't know if you've seen this. Alan Turing. What's his name? Cumberbatch? It's the actor's name. I just forgot his name now.
Yes.
I would get deep voice.
It's now on the movie in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. What's the name of the movie? Invitation Game. Here it is.
Invitation Game, yeah.
That's right. Did anyone see this movie?
No, not yet. I would
Sorry,
like
I've
to.
seen it already.
Oh, you saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of this is ultimately based on the real guy behind the movie.
Mhm.
Was the movie good?
I read the the summary.
Uh-huh. But I think I saw the movie.
Yeah,
No.
the movie was great for me, but I have to tell you true, all of you, because the movie is based. The movie was running in 40s, but he did a big job for to stop the war or to solve some problems in the war. But 8 years later, I mean, in 32, there were 3 guys from Poland who made base for solve this problem. So the guys from Poland developed Enigma, and after a few years, in 38, they hadn't got money to develop it more.
Right.
So they gave it to British and French government, and it led the British to develop this, and we know the final.
The Enigma machine, or whatever it's called. The Enigma decoder. Is that what you mean?
Decoder. Yeah, that's right.
So in the movie, I didn't see the movie, but I know about Alan Turing. So the movie is about him during the war in a special office that was developing the very first modern computers, basically. And the goal was to decode the radio signals of the Germans, who had a very advanced coding method. So to decode those, to figure out the algorithm necessary to decode, and figure out the algorithm and the ciphers to decode in real time what the Germans were doing when they were sending signals to their submarines and planes. And so, Kuba, you're telling me that the Poles came up with the idea first.
Yes, that's right. I tell you
So,
because
there was a specific computer for decoding.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying. The Enigma, right?
I see. Yes.
Enigma. Yeah, I telling you this because in Polish television and radio, after the movie came to the cinemas, there was a problem because everyone in Poland knows that Polish people has a big had a big impact or
Impact, yeah. Maybe?
to Enigma, but the movie didn't notice this,
Didn't acknowledge
didn't acknowledge.
it. Well, the movie itself, I've heard, was didn't acknowledge many things. I heard the movie was not very accurate. Also about his life, that they created a character that was not at all like the real Alan Turing. That they changed him into someone who was really sort of, crazy and weak, and it's not really what he was like. He was very outgoing. I wanted to find.
Despite this, I can recommend you this film. Really, it's
Okay.
great.
Then I'll see it. If you recommend it, I'll see it. I wanted to find an example because what we have is something kind of like the Turing test is something kind of like the virtual you from eternity.me. I was just trying to see if I could find an online chat to show you what I mean. Give me a second here. Online chat. Oh, let me see if I can find a quick example because the one I used was blocked. But let me see if I can find another one. Online chat, Turing test.
There is a theorem in math about Turing. There is a theorem in math.
Yes.
Yes.
What is the theory?
Not theory, yeah? Theorem.
Theorem, okay.
Theorem.
What is the theorem?
But I don't know exactly, but when I studied, there was a theorem I remember about Turing.
Well, he was extremely influential.
Yeah.
In fact, in many areas, because they were working on computationalism, so that applies to everything we do nowadays. And the field of artificial intelligence, more or less, can be traced back directly to him. He has a paper, What is Artificial Intelligence? Well, I'm showing you this because this is not unlike the avatar that eternity.me would create. And here's an example. You have a question here. What car do you drive? So let's interact. This is an example of the Turing test. The Turing test is whether or not a machine can intelligently have a conversation with a human being. So here's an online Turing test. We have to answer the questions and see if we can be convinced that this is a real person. Okay? So let's answer the question. Do you drive a car? What car do you drive? Let's answer it. Daniel, what's your answer to this question?
I usually drive a BMW.
I usually drive a BMW. I don't know if the test can detect whether you're lying or not, but let's see.
I'm lying.
Let's see what happens. I'm asking what I usually do, not you. Kuba, how would you respond to that? Make it a little bigger.
Well, I don't know, because the question is, what car do you drive? And someone asked us what car we drive.
Exactly. So this program, Jabberwocky, is not passing the Turing test. But let's respond. Koopa, what's your response to this? I'm asking what I usually do, not you. You can also give an emotion.
So maybe we can say, I don't understand you.
Okay, fine. I don't understand you. And let's pick an emotion for that. What's our emotion?
Question tag?
Let's see if we have a question here. The closest thing we have is
Getting angry.
getting angry. All right, we'll go with angry. Let's see what happens. I don't understand you either. Vincenzo, what's your response?
I can answer with another question.
Good, try. Good.
Yes. Do you mean what type of car?
Do you mean the type of car?
Type of car.
And let's pick an emotion. We have angry, happy, sad, curious, cool, doubtful. Let's pick an emotion.
That's interesting.
Let's choose an emotion. We have many emotions. You give me a general emotion. Are we happy? Are we sad?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. No, yeah, a little.
We also have normal, no emotion.
No, I think there is always an emotion.
Okay.
Always an emotion. But in this case, there is something, I don't know, very strange. And it's not anger, it's not fear, it's not just a little.
How about doubting? Look,
disturbed because we don't know about how to manage this.
True, but look, we have doubting. That's a good emotion.
Doubt.
We're asking a question. Let's try doubting. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Let's see what happens. What's happening?
I don't understand.
No, I mean soccer.
Soccer?
That's what it says. I'm going to answer this one.
It's very strange.
I don't play soccer. I don't play soccer. And my reaction is amused. I'm amused. Let's see what happens. And the answer is no.
No.
So everyone, does Jabberwocky pass the Turing test? Are we convinced this is a real person? Are we convinced?
It's a very strange answer. This is something.
What do you think, Daniel?
It's a monkey pushing the button.
If I just keep posting the button, what happens? Seen any good films lately? Yeah. I saw. What was the name of that movie?
The game.
Imitation Game. Yeah. Imitation. Yes, I saw Imitation Game, and I'm really happy about that. I'm very happy. What happens? Any good? Hey, this is starting to sound like a conversation. Koopa, you saw it. Any good?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Emotion? How about agreeable? We're agreeable here. Good.
He's getting back to normality.
Back to normal.
To normal.
Well, anyway, that gives you a little background on the Turing test. In the Turing test, what you have to do is, for a period of time, you interact with the machine like this. By the way, Kuba, just just turn off your microphone when you're not speaking, because we're
All right.
hearing all the drilling in the background. Okay. In the Turing test, you have to interact with the machine and for a period of time. And if you don't know after, I think it's 30 seconds or a minute, I don't know. If you don't know whether or not it's a machine, then the machine has passed the Turing test. There's a few requirements. So the Attorney.me avatar is something like that, except there's a big difference. Attorney.me. There's a big difference. It will interact with you, in theory, for years. Oh, where is this? Attorney.me. Let's go back to the website before we start to read. It'll interact with you to create that Turing test. To create that Turing test, but this time with all of the information, with all of the data. So it's something between the Turing test and that computer that won Jeopardy, Watson. Has anyone seen Watson? I don't know if you saw that. So one more thing. Watson Jeopardy. I don't know if any of you have seen this. It was a couple of years ago. IBM supercomputers destroys humans in Jeopardy. And in the TV show, which is about a trivia TV show, let me see if I can show this really quickly. Oops. Hold on just a second here. I can show you a quick clip from this. Why does this look so strange? Here, share. Give me a second here. It's going to be too hard to play there, so I'm going to play this quickly in the classroom. Did anyone see, has anyone seen or read about Watson? Does that sound familiar?
No.
No? Okay. So look, I'm going to add YouTube. Take a quick look at this clip, and I think between the Turing test and Watson, you'll have a pretty good idea about what they're trying to achieve. Okay? So give me just a second to load it up. Please accept the YouTube.
To communicate.
Yeah. I'll put the link in the window, but I'm going to play it in the classroom too. Okay? So we're going to watch just the beginning of this clip. Here we go. Let me see if I can get the clip to play. Wait a second. If it doesn't work, I will skip
Is
it.
it possible to learn concept?
Alright, hold on a second. This is not working for some reason. 1 second. Let me try this again. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. Maybe the link is bad. 1 second, please. Let me try this one more time. Get this right. For some reason, it's not playing. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's see if it works.
I remember an old film of science fiction.
Alright, I can't get the...
Forbidden Planet, where it was possible to increase your mind.
Sorry, I can't get the video to play. But what I can do, for some reason it's not working. So I'm just going to show you the clip. You won't hear the audio. 1 second. And I'll just show you the clip so you can see the game show where it was. And I'll just tell you what happened. 1 second. Let me just put it on screen. By the way, oh, here we go. So you can just see the video in the background. So you probably can't hear the audio, but you have two people on the right side. Let me just see if I can move forward a little bit. Okay, so on the right side, you have a board with questions. Each answer is worth a certain amount of money. Whoever gets the most money will win the test, will win the game show. On the right side, you have these people, two real people, and in the middle you have Watson. Now, as far as I know, they are just talking directly to Watson. I don't remember if the engineers are actually typing the questions to him. As far as I know, they're actually talking to him. And Watson uses the search algorithm to go through the internet and get the answer. That means that Watson has to understand the question without any help. But he has access to the entire internet and to many, many databases of his own. And if I can jump forward a little bit, after just a few minutes, look at the score already. After 5 minutes, the score is $3,000, and he's more than doubled the correct number of answers from the others. Right. So I couldn't get the clip to play. It's very interesting. So this is
learning concepts.
Well, is it? That's the issue. Is it learning concepts? What do you think, Vincenzo? Is the computer
the meaning
learning
of
the
the
concept?
meaning of words? The meaning of words.
It seems to.
Yes.
It seems to. So that's the question. For Alan Turing, artificial intelligence means that the computer understands words and can tell you a response that you understand, which will allow you to respond again. And that was the definition of artificial intelligence. So, does that mean that the computer understands? That's the question. Does it really? And another question is, if it understands, does that mean that the computer is conscious? So, what do you think about that idea? If the computer understands words, first, is the computer understanding anything? Is Watson understanding? And second, does that mean that Watson is conscious? What do you think? Let's start with you, all of you. What's your opinion about this?
Yes, we have to define conscience.
We do.
Yes, we have to. I don't know if it is possible only by understanding concepts to define a person conscious. Conscious. Is it only by understanding concepts that a person is conscious, or something else?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, is a machine?
A machine is a
conscious?
machine. A man is a man.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, yes.
Is the machine conscious if it understands words?
Yes.
And
yes.
can respond.
Yes, gosh, in that sense, yes.
So, concepts in a simple way, just individual words, well, words in a sentence. So the question in the chat window is a machine conscious if it understands words and can respond?
Yes.
If
can
so,
a machine feel emotions?
That's another question. That's too advanced for us yet.
Yeah.
But I like this first part, what you said. Can it understand concepts? So, for me, to put it simply, if it understands words and can respond, if so, it understands concepts.
Yes.
In some sense. I don't know in what sense. Okay? But let's say that that's our question. Can it understand concepts? Meaning, can it understand words and can it respond? Okay? And then here's another question. If it is conscious in some way, if it is conscious, is it like us?
Yeah.
Is it Is it a being?
Mentally.
If it's, yeah.
Mentally.
And the reason I'm asking that is because in the article last week we had a very interesting question. Does a virtual you have rights? That pretty much covers what we talked about last week. Your social networks, all of that, and it saves them and tries to create an avatar, which is basically you. Another research we read about is now trying to actually scan the brain and reproduce parts of the brain, eventually reproducing all of the brain. And they're doing this with mice and other animals right now. And they've been successful with small parts of the brain, like the medulla or something like that. They've been able to take little bits of the brain and replicate them, put them back, implant them into mice, and they've had success with it. So just parts. So that's another technique, and the idea there is to create a robot which scans your brain, has your information. In both cases, you're left with a virtual you. So the question remains, is it really you? Is it conscious? And if it's conscious, is it a human being or not? Is it a being? So let's think about that for a minute. I'll go back to the class material. Here.
This is a good way to create robots.
If it works. Let's go back here for a second. And we're not going to reread this article. You can read it on your own if you like. But I would like to go to the very end just to finish up and talk about it. Let me just see. This part down here. So talking about the morality, the ethics of it. So property law. Yeah, just this very ending, because we didn't really cover this in the last class. So we're going to pick up this today. Let's read a little bit about the idea of ownership and ethics. This is one ethical question. Okay, so let's each take a paragraph here, and then I've got some discussion questions for you. Let's keep in mind what we said earlier about the Turing Test, about what it means to be conscious, and if you're conscious, does that mean that you have rights? Are you a being? So this is a slightly different take on the ethic issue. All right, so Daniel, why don't you start us off here with property laws?
Okay. Property laws. Ownership of specific memories is where things become complex, says Kohn. In a memoir you choose which memories are recorded. But if you don't have the power of which of your memories others can inspect, it becomes a rather different question. Is it a human right to be able to keep secrets?
Exactly. So if your memories are stored online in a cloud, are they your memories? Do you have the right to them? Who has the rights? Does the thing that's stored have the rights? Does your family? Is it a human right to keep secrets? Google would probably say no. Vincenzo, can you take the second paragraph for us?
Yes. This largely these largely uninterrogated questions also begin to touch on more fundamental issues of what it means to be human. Would an emulated brain be considered human, and if so, does the humanity exist in the memories or the hardware on which this simulated brain runs? If it is the latter, there is the question of who owns the hardware: an individual, a corporation, or the state. If an uploaded mind requires certain software to run, a hypothetical Google brain, for example, The ownership of the software license could become contentious.
Contentious.
What is contentious? What is the
Well, I gave you a link there. So if you click on the link, it'll open the definition here, and it'll give you an example. So let's take a quick look at the example. This is from dictionary.com. It gives the definition.
Well, it's contentious.
Contentious. Tending to argument. Quarrelsome. A contentious group.
Controversial.
Controversial, yeah.
Controversial. Cioè, it's very
Not just
difficult.
controversial, though.
It's
Not
very
just
difficult to define. Very difficult to define the property. No?
Well, it means that you and me, if we have different ideas about who owns the information. Yes. So you contend that it's yours, and I contend that it's mine.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, we have a conflict. It's a contentious situation. In other words, a conflict.
Yes. So it's a conflict, but it's not sure who has the reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and let's keep going there. This is very short. So, Kuba, can you continue?
They do this again. I mean, drilling.
Give it a try. It's short.
Okay. The knowledge that one's brain is to be recorded in its entirety might also lead some to behave differently during life. I think
to behave
differently during life. I think it would have the same effect as knowing your actions will be recorded on camera, says Sandberg. In some people, this knowledge leads to a tendency to conform to social norms. In others, it produces rebelliousness. If one thinks that one will be recreated as a brain emulation, then it is equivalent to expecting an extra post-human life.
Wow. That's something to think about. Okay, and then just to end the article from last week, the person who wrote the article was talking about a guy who wanted to sign up for Eternity.me. And he spoke about after his grandmother died, there was nothing left of her but photographs. There was almost nothing left. A T-shirt that he would wear and photographs, and he didn't understand the photographs. So at the very end, it returns to that point. Despite my own grandmother's careful distribution of her photographs prior to her death, many remained in her house. These eternally smiling, fading, unknown faces evidently meant a great deal to her in life, but now, without the framing context of her memories, they lost all but the most superficial meaning. In a curious way, they had become a burden to those of us left behind. My father asked my grandmother's vicar. You know what vicar is, everyone? What's a vicar?
Someone who substitute another.
A Kindle man.
A what, Daniel?
A Kindle man who had been her friend for many years.
No. Not at all. Vicar is like a priest in the Anglican religion. It's their version of a priest, padre. Vicar. Okay, except that they can marry. It's not like the Catholic Church. So the vicar is like the priest. Okay, so the Anglican priest is a vicar. My father asked my grandmother's vicar, a kindly man who had been her friend for many years, what he should do with the pictures. To just throw the photographs away seemed flippant and disrespectful. Flippant means sudden, without thinking, flippant, like a reaction. The vicar's advice was simple. Take each photograph, look at it carefully, In that moment, you honor the person captured, then you may discard it and be free. What do you think about the vicar's advice? So, the guy saved his grandmother's photographs, but he didn't know anything about the pictures. He didn't want to throw them away, but he didn't understand why to save them. So in the end, the vicar says, look at them. In that moment, you honor the person captured, then you may discard of it. Discard of it could mean throw it away.
Yes, yes.
What do you think about the vicar's advice?
Yes, do not be stuck in the past.
Not be stuck in the past. So, what do you think we ought to do with our digital information? Do you think we ought to follow the vicar's advice?
I don't understand. Perhaps it's a way to be stuck in the past.
So, should we take photographs and leave them behind, Vincenzo? Is that a good idea?
I think it's it, because we have to go, like, avanti, come si dice? Go on.
Forward. Avanti, forward.
Forward, yes. We have to go forward. Yes, this is the way, because if I think about the death of my wife, yes, I'm very sad, but life go on. Life is going on.
Did your wife pass away?
Yes, 2 years ago. So I have my daughter here. I must continue.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And I want to get some opinions from the rest of you too. What do you think about the vicar's advice? Does his advice about the photographs apply to a company like Eterni.me? Do you think that we could be virtual avatars? Do you think that's a good idea, or is it like the photographs?
No, I don't like it. I don't like robots.
I couldn't leave that pictures. I can leave furniture. I can leave clothes. I can leave a city, my hometown.
Right.
But my memories are too special.
Well,
for leave.
To leave them to others, you mean?
Sorry?
Too special to do what? To leave them for others?
To leave them or throw away.
You mean so you couldn't throw them away?
No.
Oh, I see. So, do you take lots of photographs? Do you take pictures?
Yes. In my hometown, in my mother's house, I have my children photos, my grandparents' photos, my father's parents' photos, and someday I'll take some of them. I will take some of them.
And do you think that they're important to save, even going back
Yes.
generations? Yeah?
Yes. On paper.
On paper. So,
Yes.
so what about if it wasn't on paper? What would you think about if you could talk to your great-great-grandmother online, like the Jabberwocky test that we just did?
Yeah. I would like.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's
For
a good
sure.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few questions for you. I think what we're going to do is start the next class because we're running a bit out of
That
time
could
here.
be used as a kind of identity theft.
Exactly. A kind of identity theft. Someone steals your grandmother. Exactly.
Somebody can think that she lives.
Exactly. And the other question is, in some sense, is she alive? Well, let's talk about this. On the next page, I have a lot of questions from the article and from the things we've talked about today. Okay, let's talk about them in the next class because we're at the end of the hour here. And just give me a second here. And I have a second article as well, specifically about the morality, the ethics, but the ethics of participating in new technology and experiments like this. So we're going to take a look at some excerpts, an article about something that happened in the past, which in a way is related and interesting. So this is from the Smithsonian. If we have time, we'll go into this. Let me just see if I can tell you something about it. It's short, so we're going to take a look at this as kind of a case study and see how that changes our idea about what we should and should not preserve and whether or not we should participate in this kind of breaking edge sort of technology. Okay, so I'll be back in just a minute, and we'll go to the discussion questions and then on to Henrietta's Immortal Cells, which is a kind of a case study about people participating in this kind of new technology. All right, so I'll be back in just a minute to start the second hour. Hope to see you there. Bye for now, everyone. See you in just a moment.